With Ozark wrapping up, we could honestly say the series deserved its popularity, and we're actually pleased with how the show concluded. But through the years, some scenes are a bit out of line and pretty uncomfortable to watch. For today's video, we're sharing with you a list of the 14 most disturbing Ozark moments ranked, so be sure to tune in if you don't want to miss out. Starting at number 14, we see Gary Sugarwood Silverberg gets thrown off a skyscraper. The first episode of Ozark is quite good, as it instantly establishes the series' potential for violence and unpredictability. During a meeting with a client, he witnesses Wendy having an affair with Gary Sugarwood Silverberg at the opening of the episode. The Navarros find Gary and throw him off a building as a warning to Wendy. It's horrible to witness Wendy through such a heartbreaking moment. Additionally, it played a significant role in the evolution of Marty and Wendy's relationship by further dividing them before their significant move to the Ozarks. Following at number 13, there's Darlene Snell shooting Frank Jr. in the Given how crazy Ozark can be, Darlene Snell is possibly the most surprising character on the entire show, which is a significant claim. As she starts a relationship with Wyatt Langmore in the third season, her character is given a deeper, more nuanced dimension. Ruth is someone who Darlene respects as well, so when Frank Jr., the mob boss of Kansas City, fatally beat Ruth, Darlene is horrified. Frank Jr. is cornered in a car by Darlene, who decides to put him in his place before pulling out a shotgun and shooting him in the groin. Moving on to the number 12 spot, we see Mason Young almost drowning a kid. Mason Young, a local pastor who sees the building of a church as a potential opportunity to launder money from a new site, is one of Marty's first targets when entering the Ozarks. Along with considering a collaboration with the Byrds, the Snells also kill Mason's wife Grace shortly after assisting in the delivery of Mason's son Zeke. Mason's descent into madness is prompted by Grace's passing as well as the departure of his flock. Mason drags Zeke to the side of a river and immerses him for a few minutes while he is left alone with him and contemplates the life choices that have brought him to this awful place. Then at number 11, there's the burning of the Snell farm by Buddy. The elderly nudist Harris Yulin's Buddy Deeker is one of the oddest and most unpredictable characters on Ozark. Buddy is the renter of the house that the Byrds buy when they first settle in the Ozarks, and as per the terms of the contract, he is expected to remain there until he passes away. He learns that the Snells, who are the Byrds' allies, are refusing to help with the plan to burn down their poppy seed farm, and he begins to appreciate the Byrds. Buddy makes the independent decision to burn the fields down with liquid fertilizer to resolve the situation. Then, while returning home, he passes away. Then at number 10, it's a bit shocking to see the Kansas City mob gang up on Ruth. Ruth's rebellious nature is once again on display when Marty asks her to help manage daily operations aboard the Byrds' casino barge. Ruth is keeping a lookout for boisterous customers while maintaining her professionalism and avoiding any unpleasant events that would jeopardize the tenuous peace. She eventually snaps under the pressure of leering mobster Frank Jr., who aggressively flirts with her and becomes irate when she rejects him. Ruth eventually loses her cool and hurls Frank Jr. over the edge of the barge. Ruth's brief victory is undone by Frank Jr.'s wrath, who makes a triumphant comeback. Ruth is viciously attacked by him, who then pummels her before dragging her into the hospital. Now, on to number 9, there's Del versus his financial advisor. Marty's initial exposure to the Mafia and his pivotal first meetings with Del is flashed back in the first season episode, Kaleidoscope. When Marty and Bruce meet with Del to talk about the potential for money laundering, Del asks Marty to check his ledgers for errors as a kind of test. Marty learns from the records that some money has vanished, and Del believes that his current financial advisor Lewis has been defrauding him. Del savagely gouges out Lewis's eyeball in front of Marty and Bruce. At number 8, Who could forget the Kansas City mob heist? Ozark is noted for its more subtle instances of violence as opposed to intense action scenes, although now and again the program would switch things up with a more frenetic conflict. When the Kansas City Mafia arrives in the Ozarks to start working on their portion of Marty's plan, that is unquestionably the situation. The new Mafia players proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that there will be a villain with enforcers just as vicious as Navarro's minions. A Mercer is struck by a truck driven by one of the mob's enforcers as he leads a truck theft at the very start of Season 2's long and winding journey to the Ozarks. The unfortunate Mercer driver is not sought after very long, since the henchman shoots his entire hand off when he steps outside to confront the man who has been pursuing him with a shotgun. And now we're at the upper half of today's countdown. At number 7, we have the time when Carl accidentally murdered his wife. The Big Muddy Casino's owners, Carl and Anita Gnarlson, are first introduced in Season 3. Wendy has her sights set on expanding there and luring the Gnarlsons into a partnership as the Birds are establishing their opulent cruiser casino. Anita is considerably more opposed to a prospective sale than Carl is, and the two get into a heated dispute about the future of their company. When his wife suggests that she should have married his brother instead, Carl slaps her in a genuinely disgusting accident. Anita is struck falling down a hill and dying there. Then, moving on to number 6, we see Cade Langmore take out FBI agent Roy Petty. One of the most complicated characters on Ozark is FBI agent Roy Petty, who is brought in to look into Marty's odd behavior and his connections to the Navarro family. After the passing of his sweetheart, Petty becomes even gloomier, exhibiting no compassion for the Birds and deciding to subject them to the full force of the law's retribution. Petty finds out, though, that he has not met the Langmores for good. Petty pushes his boundaries during a difficult interaction with Cade when he disparages Cade's daughter, Ruth, and implies that she is completely out of her depth. This incites Cade, who then viciously assaults Roy and bashes his skull. Then, at number 5, there's the scene where Ruth chose to electrocute both her uncles. Ruth is willing to risk her life for her friends and family, thus having to decide between the two makes it harder for her. Her uncle Russ enlists as an FBI informant for Roy Petty and conspires with his brother Boyd to take Marty's money and kill him. When Ruth is compelled to step in, she electrocutes both of her uncles on a pier in a truly horrific moment. It is a shocking deed, both for how graphically it's depicted and for the mental anguish Ruth experiences as a result. And now we're at the final 4. At the number 4 spot, it's pretty disturbing how the Navarros killed Helen Pierce. Since her debut at the start of Season 2, Helen Pierce has consistently been a pain in the Birds' side. Helen eventually travels to Mexico with Marty and Wendy to witness his son's second baptism, where they have a crucial meeting. They talk about the operation's future during this exchange, but Navarro starts things off by tying up loose ends. He decides that Helen is a pointless middleman and that he would prefer to deal with the Birds directly, and orders his enforcer to shoot her in the face. At number 3, there's Marty's torture by the Navarros. Before they relocated to the Ozarks, the Birds weren't particularly close, but they grew closer as a result of their involvement in the enterprise. They are therefore more horrified when Marty is taken hostage by the cartel, flown to Mexico, and subjected to prolonged torture. Marty engages in some significant soul-searching, and at no other time has he shown more compassion than in this awful moment of suffering. Now, at number 2, we have Bruce's swift death at the hands of Dell. Despite maintaining a professional facade, Marty and his business partner Bruce Liddell surreptitiously assist the Mexican drug cartel in money laundering while running their Chicago-based financial consulting firm. Dell visits the two at a covert nocturnal rendezvous and starts questioning them about a discrepancy in the last cargo. After a brief period of tension, Bruce says he stole $8 million. Marty witnesses Dell kill him right away. And finally, the most disturbing scene in Ozark is when Wendy sacrificed Ben. With a fresh emphasis on character in its third and best season, Ozark truly recovered. Tom Pelphrey's portrayal of Ben, Wendy's brother, in this episode was particularly outstanding. Unfortunately, Wendy is forced to make the unthinkable decision to sacrifice her brother to preserve the operation after Ben goes too far. It is undoubtedly the show's most heartbreaking development when a character with a seemingly bright future is abruptly killed off. With that, we're wrapping up today's video of the most disturbing Ozark moments. Which is the most disturbing moment for you throughout the series? Let us know in the comments section below. Before you go, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel with the notification bell on for more videos like these. And we'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching.